Today on Public Eye News, Michigan commits to a $97 million investment into recycling and some tips on how to reduce encounters with bears this spring and summer.
And later, Adam will have your weather for the weekend and Scott will have your sports update. Hi, I'm Marin Parks.
And I'm Scott Mitchell, and this is Public Eye News. As reported by WNMU-TV, the Dickinson County Healthcare Center is back open today after a bomb threat was called in last night. According to the center, they received a call around 9 p.m. from someone disguising their voice who said they had placed a bomb in the hospital. The hospital immediately went into emergency lockdown protocol, locking down the facility and alerting local authorities. Law enforcement was at the hospital within minutes of being alerted and initiated a sweep of the entire building, and were able to confirm there was no active threat at the hospital. At this time, no arrests have been made, but the Iron Mountain Police is asking anyone with information to call them at 906-774-1234. Today is April 20th, more commonly known to those who partake in cannabis consumption as 420. For those who do partake, it just became a lot easier, as the Fire Station Cannabis Company will soon offer delivery right to your door. As reported by WNMU-TV, Fire Station will offer delivery of all of its products in the coming weeks. The service will be available to medical patients 21 years and older and will require the customer to show photo ID upon delivery. The deliveries must be made to a residential address and will be limited to 2.5 ounces per transaction. For more updates on the delivery service, follow the Fire Station's Facebook page. And a group of environmental, political, and business leaders in Michigan have announced a recycling infrastructure initiative that will commit $97 million towards the state's recycling efforts. The money will be diverted to cities and towns across the state to fund community efforts to recycle. Cities like Detroit are receiving grants to purchase recycling bins, and businesses in the city are receiving money to improve their own recycling efforts. Currently, Michigan has been consistently improving the state's recycling rates, and the hope is that this program will help to continue that trend.
And a new trial was ordered for a Lansing couple who previously lost their parental rights to their 3 children on account of medical neglect leading to the death of their youngest daughter. When the child was born in the couple's home, the midwife who delivered her noticed signs of jaundice in the child. Rather than seeking medical treatment, the couple chose to attempt to pray the sickness away, leading to the death of their daughter a few days later. The court is now reopening the case on the grounds that the parents believed in divine healing and were practicing their religious beliefs, and therefore cannot be considered negligent on those grounds alone. Though the courts are willing to appeal this part of the case, the parents are still facing separate criminal charges pertaining to their daughter's death. And last Saturday, a drag race in Detroit took a turn for the worse when one of the participating cars, a Dodge Durango, and its 2 passengers crashed into a building. The second car that was participating in the race fled the scene, and neither the car's make and model nor the driver's identity is yet known. According to Nora Hall of the Detroit Press, the incident took place at the intersection of Maxwell and East Warren Streets around 11:15 p.m. on April 17th. The passengers of the Durango are also currently unidentified. Police only know that one was male and one female. After the crash, both victims were transported to a nearby hospital where they were both pronounced dead. This case is currently being looked into by the Detroit Police Department's Fatal Squad, and all information provided on the case thus far is preliminary and subject to change. And Unlock Michigan, a group attempting to repeal the emergency powers of Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer and with ties to Republican politics, has submitted 460,358 valid signatures to the Michigan Department of State Bureau and Elections. This volume of signatures largely surpasses the necessary minimum of 340,000 needed for the demand to pass through to the Board of State canvassers. If this bipartisan board agrees with the notion and certifies it during their meeting this upcoming Thursday, it is likely that the notion will then be sent to the GOP-led legislature and subsequently passed immediately rather than being put to a vote in 2022. If this happens, Governor Whitmer will have no power to veto the movement, and the 1945 law that allowed her to implement her emergency orders at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic will be officially removed from the law books. And don't touch that dial, because after this break, we will be back with your national and international news.
Voters in Philadelphia have chosen a progressive as their new district attorney.
You want to be safe, you don't need this many jails.
My guys don't trust you. What am I to tell them?
I suggest you don't shoot unarmed people in the back.
There's no mass incarceration.
This will be controversial.
The DA's office is not a place a social experiment should be conducted.
You're being lied to.
Tonight at 9 on WNMU-TV.
Welcome back. The search for survivors from a capsized lift boat in the Gulf of Mexico has officially ended as of today. Officials are now turning their attention towards comforting the loved ones of the deceased and missing persons. The cause of the capsizing is still under investigation, and officials say it could take up to 2 years for a cause to be determined. The United States is set to withdraw all of its military assets from Afghanistan in the next 5 months. As that date grows closer, concerns grow for one American, Mark Freerichs, a contractor from Lombard, Illinois, who has been held hostage in Afghanistan by the Taliban for over a year. Republican leaders in the government are concerned that by announcing a troop withdrawal, the country is showing weakness, which will affect the country's ability to bring Freerichs home safely.
And earlier today, the Transportation Minister of Egypt announced that he fired the country's top railway official in response to 3 major train crashes that took place within the span of less than a month and left at least 29 dead and 320 injured. In addition to this overhaul of personnel, Egypt's government has announced a mass renovation plan for all of its railways and equipment in hopes of avoiding any more unnecessary citizen casualties from equipment malfunctions. And the president of Chad was declared dead earlier today after 30 years of service in the position and only days after winning an election that would have guaranteed him 6 more. The president was killed while visiting the frontline soldiers fighting against a rebel group called the Front for Change and Concord. Though the president's son was quickly named the new president in the wake of his father's death, the rebel group doesn't seem to be planning on backing down anytime soon and have simply set their sights on this new target. And the Virginia Department of Wildlife has been monitoring the increase in bear activity. They've also been noticing an increase in bear break-ins of homes and vehicles. Chief Dennis Russell of the Wintergreen Police Department has some tips on how you can decrease your chances of encountering a bear this spring and summer.
They're now waking up, and they're now coming out, and they're looking for food.
People are leaving attractants in their cars, as simple as a candy wrapper or dog food, and the bears are smelling it.
They open the doors of the cars, just like a human would. If the bear finds the vehicle locked, they don't usually break the door or break the window.
Here, a bear broke in and the door closed behind it. The car destroyed after the bear tried to get out.
You love these majestic animals and they're beautiful, but you know, they do cause some havoc.
In 2019, Wintergreen Police received 173 reports of bear activity. In 2020, the number doubled. The Virginia Department of Wildlife says the amount of bear sightings depends on annual bear population and crop season.
In years with abundant natural foods, the bears have less of a reason to come around human communities and look for food.
Wintergreen Police are marking the bears with paintballs to track their patterns and playing sounds of barking dogs over loudspeakers. Meanwhile, authorities are asking people to remove attractants from areas within a bear's reach.
Just anything you can think of that you can remove that might make your yard less appealing and makes the bear walk by and keep on going and going somewhere else for food. That's the kind of thing you got to think about.
Brace yourself because your morning cup of coffee could be in jeopardy as climate change threatens coffee plants around the globe. But perk up because British researchers think they found a solution. CBS's Ian Lee has the story from London.
Not any old coffee bean can make a good cup. But the industry's best beans are under threat as climate change leaves a bitter taste.
We're seeing throughout the tropical coffee belt increasing temperatures, but also more erratic rainfall and increased drought.
Arabica beans make up more than half of the world's coffee, but scientists predict production could shrink by 50% in 30 years. So the search is on for a future-proof plant.
What we want is a tree that's sort of relatively compact, that is drought resistant, that is climate tolerant, and can give us a good yield with good flavor attributes.
In the dense tropical rainforests of West Africa, the coffee crisis may have found its savior, these little black berries of the rare Stenophila plant.
But importantly, Stenophila can grow and can crop under much higher temperatures than Arabica coffee.
The crucial coffee test is, of course, will it keep you going, but also it's gotta taste good. Researchers say Stenophila delivered.
It tasted fantastic. It had a good body, a good aroma, it had sweetness, it had complexity.
Apart from robust flavors, it's crucially a robust plant.
If we're interested in generating the coffees of the future, this is a really important little plant.
with an important bean to help keep the caffeinated world spinning. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Stay with us because for the last time, Adam Diaz will be back with your weather and I will be back with your sports.
Coming up on the next Song of the Mountains. Lively performances where old tradition meets new, here on Song of the Mountains.
Friday night at 10 on WNMU-TV.
And welcome back to Public Eye News Weather. I'm Adam Diaz, your weatherman today, bringing you the weather from NMU's campus. And unfortunately, will be the last time that I will be on weather for my college career. But let's take a look at current conditions. Mostly cloudy, temperature at 30 degrees, winds north at 15 miles an hour, barometric pressure at 30.13 and rising. Taking a look at tonight, will be partly cloudy, the low of 22 degrees, winds north-northwest at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Take a look at tomorrow, will be partly cloudy, the high of 35 degrees, winds north-northwest at 11 miles an hour. Taking a look across our UP, we're starting at Sault Ste. Marie at 27 degrees and cloudy, and the clouds are going to be going across the UP, going over to Manistique at 35, Escanaba 37, Menominee is going to be at 38, Iron Mountain at 36, Ironwood 32, Houghton at 29 and partly cloudy, and going back to our beautiful Marquette at 30 and partly cloudy. Take a look into your week ahead. We got Thursday, the high of 50, the low of 39 and partly cloudy. Friday will be the high of 56, the low of 38 and mostly cloudy. Saturday will be the high of 47, the low of 28, and you're going to be looking at rain/snow mixture. And now let's send it over to Scott Minshaw with the latest, I think, in Super League.
Thanks a lot, Adam. Over this past week, one of the biggest sports stories on the planet has been the newest proposed European soccer league known as the Super League. One of the founding members of the new league, the Chelsea Football Club, has decided to pull out of the league before it even started. The move is shocking as they just announced their intent to join 2 days ago. The move comes as soccer fans across the world have heavily criticized the proposed league, saying it will ruin the game of soccer and greatly impact the game across the world. Last month, the state of Michigan legalized sports betting for online and in-person casinos across the entire state. The decision has resulted in massive amounts of money being generated by gambling websites. In just the month of March alone, states' online sites brought in over $95 million worth of revenue. That number puts the websites on pace to earn $760 million in the first year of sports gambling being legal in the state. The money raised will not only make casinos and executives happy, but will help the entire state as the increase in revenue leads to more taxes and payments for the state. The money collected will be used to improve education and economic development across Michigan. The Northern Michigan University women's lacrosse team will end their regular season with the series against Davenport University this weekend. The team is currently 6-5 on the year and 4-2 in conference play. The team is on a 2-game losing streak and is hoping to break that streak this weekend. Both games will be at Davenport, with the first game Friday starting at 5:30 and the second one Sunday at noon. That's all I have for sports, but it sounds like there's some other interesting things in the news, Maren.
Yes, so fossils of a long-extinct shark species that was previously going by the name of Godzilla shark has finally received a proper binomial name. The shark fossils were discovered in the Manazzo Mountains of New Mexico, and one thing scientists immediately noticed was the pattern and size of the shark's teeth. Scientists believe that these fossils belong to a species of shark that crushed their prey rather than piercing it, leading to the temporary name of Godzilla shark. However, the shark has now been given a new name. But that's all the time we've got for you today. Thank you for tuning in to Public Eye News, and we will see you again tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.